If you love nano-planted tanks like me, then you know that nano-algae eaters are a must-have. But which one should you get? Keep watching as I do a direct head-to-head comparison of Otocinclus catfish and Hillstream loaches. Hi, my name is Irene with girltalksfish, here with practical tips on nanofish and planted aquariums. And before you send me your hate mail on how Hillstream loaches can only be kept in cold water, high current setups, please see my full care video over here on Hillstream loaches that goes more into depth of people's actual real life experiences in keeping this wonderful fish. Now, I've kept both Otocinclus catfish and Hillstream loaches in the various algae-infested stages of my 20-gallon back to basics planted tank. So I've gotten to see how well they perform under various conditions. All right, in terms of size, Otocinclus catfish are going to be smaller, ranging from like 1.5 to 2 inches, versus Hillstream loaches are more the 2 to 3 inch size range, depending on if you have a male or female. But both are great, smaller alternatives to your typical algae-eating plecos. For schooling size, Otocinclus definitely like their friends, so I would say at least 4 to 6. More is always better. Versus Hillstream loaches, you could keep just 1 or at least 3. If you only keep 2, they might do a lot of fighting in your tank. Now, because of that schooling size, but also body size, the minimum tank size I would recommend for Otocinclus would be maybe at least 10 to 20 gallons, but for Hillstream loaches, definitely 20 gallons or more. Another area where it kind of matters in terms of the number of fish you get would be the cost. Otocinclus are definitely much cheaper at $3 to $7 maybe at the highest, versus Hillstream loaches, I would say more like $15 to $20, which even if you only get 3, that's still gonna be a lot more than the Otocinclus catfish. Ouch. When it comes to appearance, I personally like the look of Otocinclus catfish, so that subtler, horizontal stripe. It looked like a little shark with armored scales on it, but come on. Hillstream loaches, I mean, they're this crazy alien oddball fish that everybody says, what was that thing that just darted in the back that looks like a miniature stingray with the high contrast pattern of stripes and spots? Definitely has that very, very high wow factor. Temperature. Okay, Otocinclus, usually people quote 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, versus Hillstream loaches, I would definitely say they can go cooler. They can be in a cold water tank, so mid 60s, all the way to like, just below 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Although Corey from Aquarium Co-op actually accidentally bred them in his aquarium that had clown loaches, so that was like in the mid 80s, and they were happily making babies. Who knew? When it comes to temperament, Otocinclus catfish are kind of known as one of the most peaceful nanofish there are out there. Wouldn't hurt a fly, probably wouldn't eat a baby shrimp, so a lot of people have tried keeping them in shrimp tanks. Hillstream loaches are also snail and shrimp safe as well, although you may see them spar a little bit with each other. So that's why I said don't only get 2 of them. Because although then again, compared to celestial pearl danios, when they sparred, they would actually bite chunks out of each other's tails, versus Hillstream loaches, they just kind of shuffle on each other and then they fly away. So I wouldn't say it's very aggressive at all. Both of them have been living with my Amano shrimp with no problems at all. I would say they would be great for pretty much any community tank. So far in this list, I feel like the Otocinclus catfish have a little more of the advantage. They're smaller, they're cheaper, but now we're gonna get to categories where the Hillstream loach is going to start to shine more. And the first one is diet. Otocinclus catfish are just notorious for being really picky. Like there's this thing where, when you first bring them home, if you can get them eating within the first 1 to 2 weeks, they'll usually do just fine in your tank from then on. But if you can't, they're gonna go downhill from there and probably not make it. Versus Hillstream loaches pretty much eat anything that sinks to the ground from what I've seen. Like both of them, they love their veggies. They'll eat their canned green beans, Rapashi soylent green gel food, spirulina brine shrimp, but then Hillstream loaches will also eat things like frozen bloodworms, pellets, just normal fish food. So definitely gotta give the win there to Hillstream loaches. Their food preferences also come into play when it comes to the most important category, which is how well do they eat algae? And I was surprised, Otocinclus catfish are hailed as this awesome nano algae eater, and it turns out they mostly only eat brown diatom algae or soft algae on flat surfaces. So if there was like a broad, large Anubias leaf, or it was on the surface of the glass, they did great, but I really didn't see them going after any other type of algae. And at least for me, my new tanks will get brown diatom algae, but then afterwards it's on to other stuff, right? Versus the Hillstream Loaches, man, they'll go after the brown diatom, they'll go after green hair algae, filamentous algae, blackbeard algae. And it doesn't have to be flat surfaces too. I've actually seen, I think I have footage of one of them going after a Mayaca plant that has little short, not spiny, but fluffy leaves. It would be very difficult, you think, for that mouth to scrape off of. But man, that Hillstream Loach, he was gonna try. Final category is breeding. I personally have not done any breeding, so I'm going after what some of these experts have said, but Master Breeder Dean has successfully bred Otocinclus catfish. He fed them a lot of live and frozen baby brine shrimp, as well as zucchini, and then they kind of lay sticky eggs, much like Corydoras catfish. Versus Rachel O'Leary said when she first got in her Hillstream Loaches, they started breeding in the quarantine tub. So I would say, from what I've heard at least, out of the two, Hillstream Loaches seem a little bit easier to breed. So where does that leave us in our final count? Well, Otocinclus catfish are smaller, cheaper, and slightly more peaceful. They don't argue among themselves. Versus Hillstream Loaches, I would say, are hardier, much easier to feed, easier to breed from what I've heard, and most importantly, a much better algae eater. They're not as picky. So if you have a 20-gallon tank or larger, I would definitely go for Hillstream Loaches. But if you're on a budget or you have a smaller tank, Otocinclus catfish may be the way to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put their 2 comprehensive care videos over here so you can check them out in more detail, but let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. Take time to enjoy your aquariums, and I'll see you in the next video.